Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Golf News Our Eyes College Golf Winter Break podcast series. That's a mouthful, but super excited for this series that we're going to be doing over the next month or so to bring some attention to college golf in Rhode Island and also to bring attention to college golfers from Rhode Island who are playing outside the state and across the country. We have a slew of episodes already lined up and more to come as time goes on, but we're super excited for the series. I'm super excited for the series, and hopefully it helps raise the level of college golf attention here, as I said, in the state and kind of across the region. So the first episode, we're super excited. We talked to Sam Hood, who is a college golfer at Bryant University, obviously right here inside the state. And it was an interesting conversation, really cool kid. I actually met him at the Bryant University golf tournament over the summer at Newport Country Club. So it was fun to talk to him. It was a great conversation. We talk about a lot of things that I think a lot of young college golfers are going through. A lot of people are freshmen and sophomores, and they're kind of going through the same thing that Sam is going through over at Bryant. You know, it's tough to get into those lineups initially. You got to play really well, and it's very competitive. So we talk about that. We talk about just Bryant team in general, and a few other things as well. So hope you enjoy the conversation with Sam Hood. And we are delighted to be joined by Sam Hood, sophomore at Bryant University. Sam, thanks for taking some time to be part of this podcast series.
Of course, glad to be on.
So for you, you were obviously in the midst of your sophomore year. You came to Bryant after winning the South Sectional Championship in high school. What has been, to this point, what has been the biggest challenge playing college golf that you've seen or that you've had?
Just trying to crack the lineup. Like, we have a lot of guys. Every qualifier is super competitive. Every shot counts. And just preparation for that. Like, you got to be ready to compete every week, and managing school as well. So I'd say that's probably the hardest.
And you talk about cracking the lineup. Obviously, being just a sophomore, like you said, you have a lot of older players on your team. You don't have a ton of playing time, as they say, in tournaments. So, what are you doing, or what do you do to kind of stay fresh, to be ready when your figurative number is called?
Well, we've got good facilities here. When it gets cold, we move into the indoor quantity. We put the net down at the 50. We hit balls with TrackMan and GC Quad. And then we've also got a racquetball court that we kind of do the same thing, kind of work on our game in the winter, so we're sharp for the spring. But in the fall, we have a lot of places to play. Ledgemont being our home course, so just try and get out as much as I can every week, when I can, you know.
Approximately how many times do you play a week? I think a lot of people be excited to learn this because
So we try and play every day in the fall. Probably take a few days off. Like, we won't play on Sunday, or Saturday, but sometimes we'll go and play every day. If it's a nice week in September, we'll go out there every day.
awesome. Lots of practicing. Talk about the fall season for Bryant. Obviously, you guys had a lot of ups and downs, as you know everybody does in golf. But Jack Woods had a big fall year with I think 4 top 10 finishes, and I know Cale Cohen had a couple of good finishes as well. Just talk about the fall season for you guys and how that helps you going into spring season in a few months.
Yeah, so we had a couple of guys who really stepped up in the fall. We had a pretty good fall season. But we joined a new conference. We went from the NEC to the Southland. So once conference comes around in the spring, we got to be ready to compete. It's going to be a lot better competition, I think. But I think we can handle it. We got a lot of good guys, and we're pretty deep. So
for those that are confused, obviously Bryant switched conferences in the off season. For those that follow basketball, they're in the America East. There's no golf in the America East. So the Bryant golf team is in the Southland Conference. So just in case people are confused, because a lot People obviously follow college basketball as well and other sports, and obviously you guys are in the America East. There's no golf in the America East, so that's why he's in there in the South. I'll just to clarify that. Joining this new conference, just in general, yeah, for golf. What are the challenges in that? I mean, is there you guys have to kind of learn the teams? Are there different tournaments that perhaps you guys aren't really playing in, haven't really played in before? What are some of the challenges of being new to a conference?
Well, I think for the most part, like we've been in the NEC for years, and during the fall we see a lot of those teams up here when we play in tournaments. And we got to be ready to, the first tournament that we play, if we happen to see one of the teams that are in our conference in the spring, we gotta see how we're matching up. But it's gonna be tough, but I think we can definitely handle it. I think our conference is down in Texas this year instead of Florida, so should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That'll be obviously later in the spring. The coach of Brian, of course, is Charlie Blanchard, one of the great players in Rhode Island golf history, basically. What is it like having him as a coach? What kind of coach is he, and what's that dynamic between you guys and Coach Blanchard?
He's the best, especially when it comes to on the course. I mean, I wouldn't change anything. Like I want him to help me through every shot. Like I can't ask for a better coach. The way he assures you that you're gonna hit a good shot, and he walks you through everything and really crunches the numbers. He wants to get you thinking and really dial it in. He's pretty big on like where to like leaving yourself in good places, missing on the right side if you're gonna miss. And his outlook on golf and kind of picking apart the course shot by shot. It's really helpful on the course. And he's a great teacher. We see him at his facility, try and get down there every week or every other week. And he's just the best.
One thing I'm interested in doing this kind of podcast series is one thing I want to ask pretty much everybody that we have coming on. We have a handful of players in the state and outside the state booked for the next couple of days or whatever. But one thing I'm interested in with college golf, and it's similar to high school, I guess, but that dynamic between playing for yourself, but also having an eye on the team score. What is that? I mean, obviously you do it. I'm assuming you did it a little bit in high school because high school is similar with team scores and individual scores. So I'm assuming it's similar, but how do you balance that dynamic? Is there a balance? Or does it just go out and play your best? I mean, obviously you're playing your best, but do you have an eye on the team scores? Like, okay, here's a par five that I could go for in two, but if I screw up, I could end up double bogey. Is there what's that dynamic like? What's that balance like between you're playing for yourself? Obviously, you want to play well, but also having an eye on the team score.
Well, I think the team always comes first, obviously. So, but at the same time, you want to really, think about what you're doing out there individually. Obviously, you want to place well, you want to score well, and that stacks up for the team score as well. So you got to kind of keep an eye on both, and just play smart.
Yeah, so I just find that interesting. I think that's one of the interesting things about college golf. I think that's, if we're being honest, I think that's what makes live golf kind of interesting, intriguing. Is a team part of it. So funny story though, but for those that don't know, Sam and I actually met at Newport Country Club at a Bryant University golf tournament that I got into through my uncle and my dad at like kind of the last minute. I got like a text at 10 p.m. the night before asking if I could play because they needed a fourth. So I'm like, sure. And you were hitting tee shots for all the players, you and one of your teammates. His name escapes me, so I apologize. But and I believe you hit my tee shot and you put it in the fairway. So thanks for that. I ended up making like a bogey or something on the hole, but that's okay. Your tee shot was in the middle. Being on the Bryant golf team, being up here in New England where winter break is really a winter break. How much work are you doing during this time? Obviously, you guys don't start the spring season until what, probably late February, March, somewhere around there. But how much work are you putting in during this winter break, during kind of the holiday season, if you will? What's going into that?
Like I said, we have great facilities here. We try and get in there every week just to stay fresh. And like I said, Coach Blanchard, try and see him every once in a while. Just working with him is the best. Like he'll really stay like get you sharp and keep the swing moving. I think that's the most important thing. Can't take too much time off. So we're all still working every week, as much as we can.
Are you one of these players, or are you someone that if you don't pick up a club for, a week, 2 weeks, whatever you want to call it, don't pick up a club for 2 weeks? Are you one of these guys that you're kind of lost when you get back out there, or does it kind of come back? Because for me, and again, I stink, but for me, if I don't play for a week or two, like literally don't do anything, that first round or two back, can kind of be a struggle. Again, I'm not comparing myself to you guys. I stink, but is that something like that for you, where if you don't play consistently, is can be a bit of a struggle that first round or two back?
Yeah, definitely. Like to an extent. I mean, obviously it's all gonna come back. It's
Right.
just a matter of how much time. A few things that I noticed is just like hitting different shots, like trying to shot shape when you come off of a break. It's like it's pretty difficult. But like I said, I'm trying to keep my swing moving. I try not to take too much of a break. Sometimes a good break is good, like a week or two. But I like to keep the swing moving. We hit balls. We try to get in there twice a week. We're going to lift every week. So just staying active is the biggest thing.
A couple questions, then we'll get you out of here and get you back to studying for exams. Um, Spring season, how much anticipation is there for the spring season to start? Obviously, fall season is, you guys had a good run in the fall, and like I said, ups and downs as every golf team has. But how much anticipation is there for the spring? How much focus is there on the spring season? Because it feels like, from an outside perspective, it feels like the fall season is kind of like, I don't want to say it's the preseason because that's not necessarily true. 'Cause obviously there's big tournaments in the fall, but it feels like the fall is kind of a warm up for the spring. So how much anticipation is there for the spring season amongst you and your teammates?
I think we're all pumped up. We don't really have a too good of an idea of our schedule yet. So when
Mhm.
that schedule comes out, it's gonna be pretty exciting to see where we're going. Um, but I think the guys are pumped up, and we're gonna be able to see what we're matching up against down in Texas when that time comes. But it's gonna be cool, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
And then lastly, and we'll get you out of here. You're a sophomore at Bryant. We have Ryland has a lot of kids playing college golf all over the country, literally. And we have a handful of kids that are either freshmen in college and that are in your similar situation, not really playing that much, fighting to crack the lineup. And we have other kids that are going to be freshmen in high school in short order and probably most likely playing college golf somewhere, perhaps at Bryant. Um, Knowing the experiences that you've had in just your young career, what advice or what advice do you have for future college golfers or people that are in your or in your similar situation as freshmen in college now? What advice would you give them?
Never to get too down. Obviously, like college is really tough and you're managing a lot of things, one being golf. Like my freshman year, I cracked the lineup twice early and it felt really good. And I haven't played in a tournament since, and it's been pretty tough. But I never get too down on myself. Like we're getting super competitive. And really just trying to put my head down and do as much as I can. Um, on and off the golf course. Obviously in the fall, in the spring, once you get in your first qualifier, if you're a freshman, like it's super nerve wracking, battling against your teammates. But at the end of the day, we're a team, and you got to do what's best for the team, but fight as hard as you can.
And I have to do one follow-up, but because I'm curious about this. And we've had Will Dixon on, and he's talked about his situation at Georgia Tech. But the team qualifiers, are they more nerve-wracking than the actual tournaments? It feels like it.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. They're it's just tough because you're battling against all your best friends. And you really, really want to make the tournament. Especially we do a system here kind of where, if you crack the lineup and you play well, you finish well in that tournament, you don't even have to qualify for the next one. So it's kind of like you just gotta like get over the hump, and if you're playing some good golf, it'll kind of like all fall into place. But I mean, for me, I've been battling pretty hard like this whole last spring and this fall. It's been tough trying to crack the lineup. But I mean, I know I can do it. We're all good players. We're here for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you just got to keep your head down and keep grinding. Never give up.
Absolutely. Sam, thanks so much for taking your time to come on the show, and good luck to you in the spring season. Obviously, we'll be following along. So hopefully you play well. Hopefully you get in the lineup, and good luck to you guys and Bryant in the spring season.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
That's Sam Hood from Bryant University. This has been his College Golf Winter Break podcast series. Thanks everybody for tuning in.